The second dream, as I say, has got certain similarities with Pierce's experience in a bit roundabout sort of way. So this is the second dream. I seem to be watching some kind of spaceship, as if through a telescope, trying to take off. It looked quite small, as if some distance away. It was shaped rather like a glass bottle, maybe a wine bottle, and it appeared to rise up but then drop back again 2 or 3 times. Finally it seemed to succeed in liftoff, and then I seemed to see the inside somehow, as it apparently landed on another planet. My viewpoint now seemed to be from above, some considerable height inside the ship, and it looked like a circle, surrounded by what I assumed were a number of astronauts of some kind, though they looked like they were cocooned and rather resembled in outline Egyptian mummies. Spread out in such a circle, the whole effect was rather like a large daisy. The scene changed, and we, including myself now, were all on a very Earth-like planet, very green with trees and other vegetation. We were all wearing normal clothes. However, it seemed totally silent, no singing birds or apparent insect life, despite being a bright day. People seemed aimlessly milling around, perhaps inspecting their new surroundings. Somebody cut or perhaps pushed over a large branchless tall tree trunk that appeared to be hollow, and once it reached the ground, where it had stood was a seeming nest of rather featureless black furry animals. They reminded me of the Star Trek tribbles, although rather than increase in number, they scuttled off in all directions. That was the end of the dream, but thinking about all this afterwards, the dream was clearly in 2 different sections, first as observer and then as participant. The spaceship taking off sequence reminded me of another blink of an eye dream I had back in May, when I saw the Empire State Building suddenly fly off into the sky as if a rocket. It meant nothing to me at the time, and I felt it too short to be worth mentioning before. Thinking about the 2 dream sequences now, however, especially in the light of the one I am now discussing, I wonder if both somehow symbolise the human race trying to escape this world before it is too late. If a house symbolises the personal self of an individual, perhaps a huge building represents that of a multitude of people. The daisy of mummy-like bodies perhaps suggests a chance of renewal or even rebirth, just as the Egyptians thought if they mummified people they would be able to use their existing bodies again in the next world. And the opening of a flower clearly signifies a new beginning in the plant cycle of life. Having reached the new planet, however, the astronauts found a seemingly dead and decaying world, and seemed at a loss to comprehend that they had gained nothing, and that the whole show was coming to an end. Indeed, the felling of the dead tree reminded me of Götterdämmerung, when we learn of the felling of the great world ash tree to provide the kindling wood to burn Valhalla, signifying the end of the gods and the old order, as the Rhine overflows its banks and drowns everything. As for the tribbles, I guess these simply symbolised the panic-stricken remainder of the human population scuttling for cover from the impending catastrophe. On that cheerful note, I'll pass it back to Duane, please.
Well, again, that's very good. Yeah, and we are experiencing here in the galaxy or in the other Skypes, warnings about all this because of the consciousness and the agreement to all the deception, etc. And yeah, the mummies, and I would say used that appearance of things because it was the aliens that had the spaceships and whatever, and yeah, that was their idea to do that. So I kind of see them too as individuals asleep, ready to wake up. But again, it's a recognition, isn't it? So, and the planet, that you went on, well, there's many planets out there, and there is a new planet also. There's a lot more to that. But we'll see what happens. But again, I would say that's all a heads up, and that experience you had with the Empire State Building taking off, yeah, that's interesting too. Because there are people that are thinking that, oh, gee, if we go in outer space or another planet, it's going to be better or whatever. And, you know, this is the Mars thing or whatever, but that's just the deceptors with NASA and what have you. But these are things that are occurring here, and it's all through choices. And so we'll see what happens. But with our projects, with our Galaxy project, we have a certain focus, etc. And we'll see who wakes up to recognize that. But yeah, you're getting hints about that. And yeah, as things entail this cataclysm, which is coming, it's all coming. It's not going to be avoided. People are not going to know what to do. So that's why we're taking a lot of time to share with the world and try to warn them, just like in the movie Noah, where Noah's trying to tell people the big flood is coming. It's not about God told him or whatever, but you know, he had help building that stuff in the last Noah film with what's his name, Crow. You know, he had giant aliens helping him build the ship, etc. So there's a lot going on here that people have to pay attention to. And so, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, those are pieces. And yeah, it's about recognizing something more than just creation, because this place is in big trouble and it's not stopping. It's nonstop. It's deteriorating very fast, and there's only so much time. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Peter.